Imagine a person commits a terrible crime. They are sent to prison, and for decades they do everything exactly right. They become a flawless model inmate. What exactly does society owe them? Rohit Chaturvedi became the human focal point for this legal tension. He was convicted in the Madhumita murder case, a crime that drew intense public scrutiny for its severity. Chaturvedi spent over 22 years behind bars, and over those 2 decades, his conduct was entirely exemplary. His behavior was so demonstrably good that the Uttarakhand state government officially stepped in and recommended his premature release. This creates a crucial tension. Do decades of good behavior actually earn a person a second chance? Or is a severe sentence a permanent, immovable stain that no amount of reform can wash away? The state government's recommendation didn't last long. The Federal Ministry of Home Affairs, or MHA, intervened and firmly slammed the door shut on his freedom. The MHA provided a singular reason for rejecting his release. The original crime was simply too severe. To the federal government, the state's positive assessment of his current behavior was entirely moot. This creates a legal vacuum. If the unchangeable severity of a past crime is the absolute only metric that matters, then a prisoner's present reformed conduct is mathematically meaningless. Under the MHA's logic, a life sentence operates purely as an instrument of endless retribution, offering zero structural hope for the prisoner. This bureaucratic dead end forced the case to the Supreme Court of India, directly before Justices B.V. Nagarathna and Ujjal Bhuyan. The court took immediate action and struck down the MHA's rejection of Chaturvedi's release. To explain why, the court applied a specific legal term to the MHA's action, labeling it a non-speaking order. A non-speaking order is an executive decision that lacks proper, transparent justification or legally sound reasoning. It is essentially a no without a why. The court drew a hard constitutional boundary. When a citizen's fundamental personal liberty is on the line, the government cannot legally deny it without explicit, transparent reasons. This diagram illustrates the court's most critical structural point. The justice system is strictly divided into 2 entirely separate phases. The first phase is sentencing. This is entirely backward-looking, a moment where the judge evaluates only the past crime to determine the correct punishment. The second phase is remission, or saza maafi. The court clarified that evaluating someone for early release is not an extension of their sentencing. It is a completely distinct executive process. Because it is separate, authorities in Phase 2 are legally obligated to look forward. They must evaluate a prisoner's present conduct, their actual reform, and their capacity to safely reintegrate into society. You cannot legally evaluate a prisoner for release by only looking at the person they were 2 decades ago. You must judge who they are today. Applying this logic, the Supreme Court granted Rohit Chaturvedi relief, and he is officially considered prematurely released. More importantly, the MHA's singular logic, that a severe crime permanently bars freedom, was legally dismantled. This ruling establishes a constitutional precedent for reformative justice in India, shifting the legal focus from past actions to present character. The court made its stance explicitly clear. Keeping a person locked up simply for the sake of punishment after 22 years of proven good behavior defeats the very purpose of a correctional facility. This ruling legally forces the Indian prison system to identify as a network of active rehabilitation centers, rather than static cages built exclusively for retribution. A civilized justice system is ultimately judged not only by how fiercely it punishes the guilty, but by how and when it chooses to forgive the reformed. What do you think? After decades of flawless conduct, does every prisoner deserve a second chance, regardless of their past crime? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.